Hello. Hey guys. Yay, hello. Oh, I can't wait to tell you what happened yesterday. I'll wait for a few more people to come in. Hey guys. Okay, looks like we have a few people, so I'll start. Okay, yesterday was pretty eventful. So we had another. Hi, Marcia. Hello, unknown. Oh, hi, Steve. We had another signing for the recall Gavin Newsom. By the way, the petition at this point is up to 1.4 million, and we need just under 1.5 million. We have about a month and a half to go. Hi, Al. Hi, Michael. Yeah, we have a little bit. We have about a little under a month and a half to go, and it's already at 1.4. We gained 100,000 signatures in just a month. The last time we went out, we were at 1.3. So we went out in West Hollywood. There were about four of us, and we go in West Hollywood in a public park. We set up like a little table. We have two chairs. We have hand sanitizer. We have petitions for people to sign, and it's one person at a time. It's usually pretty slow because everything's shut down, so our traffic is never that crazy. So we'll get like one person every 30 minutes that comes and signs, and we will post up there for like 3 or 4 hours. So West Hollywood has had a mask mandate for a while. When you're outside, you're supposed to be wearing your mask. We've had that in place for a while now, but I've never actually seen them enforce it. They're supposed to hand out a $300 citation, or that's what they say, but our officers, they're not enforcing it. No one's enforcing it. And for the most part, people are pretty safe, and you have to wear it when you go in a building. You have to wear it, things like that, which I always do. So we were in the middle of this public park. We didn't have our masks on. Again, there was about four of us, but we were like away from the general public. We were away from the sidewalk. Anyone that came up to our table was socially distanced with us. We were not close, and we had sanitizer available. Keep in mind, we're also right next door or right across the street from a restaurant. And at restaurants, you can sit down with a group of 3 or 4 people without your mask on, and a waiter is right next to you, closer than we were with anyone else. So while we're doing this, we were across the street there from a restaurant that was open. People were sitting down without their masks on in like open areas, but also closed in, separated by plexiglass. So they're closer together, and they're closer to their waiters talking without a mask on. I mean, okay, so anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we don't have our masks on. We did this a month ago, by the way, and we even had more people with us a month ago. None of us had masks on. We're sitting there. That was our form of peacefully protesting that we want freedom, right? But we're still being safe at the same time. Nobody bothered us. We had a cop that stopped and talked to us and basically told us, hi, Lukefish, basically told us that people were watching us and that we really need to like put our masks on and stuff like that. And we said, no, we're not going to. We are not around anyone. We're being safe. Like we're not going to do that. So they said, okay. And he went away. So we were there the rest of the day. And then we had maybe about 45 minutes left, and two cop SUVs parked, and 3 officers get out. They come out and talk to us about our masks, and we're like, hey, we're exercising our First Amendment right. We are being safe. We are peacefully protesting. We are peacefully assembling. We are exercising our freedom of speech, and that's what we're doing. And they respected that. And we were like, and they were like, look, we're going to have to give you guys a citation. We were like, well, if you do, we're going to, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But we're going to contest it in court because we don't think it's unconstitutional, and we don't agree with it, and it's not a law. So they were actually really cool. And I had keep in mind, like, I had a mask on me. It was in my purse. I wear it when I'm on the sidewalk. I wear it when I go into a store. You have to here. But keep in mind, I'm not on the sidewalk. I'm away from the sidewalk on a public park, and there's nobody around us, you guys. nobody. The public park is like completely empty except for people walking by on a sidewalk, and we were not on the sidewalk. We were like back in the grass. So they just handed us the mask and kind of just gave us education, because they have to. And then they were starting to walk away. Well, then when that happened, they were stopped by another person who was sort of harassing them. Anyway, that kind of held them up in that area. And while that was happening, you guys, no one can arrest you over freaking a mask. Give me a break. I know, that's why I said, no, I'm not going to. You can give me a fine and then I'll contest in court, but I'm not going to put a mask on. And I'm not being, it made no logical sense for me to have a mask on given like where I was and what we were doing. It made no logical sense. So we stood up to them anyway. They were leaving. Well, what happened then, some West Hollywood city council members were apparently across the street, like spying on us, basically, just like watching us. And they went and talked to the police officers. I believe the police officers had to talk to their sheriff. So they made them write us citations. So two of us got $300 citations for not wearing a mask outside in a public place. And that's what happened yesterday. And I feel bad for the cops. It wasn't their fault. They had their hands tied. They had to follow orders. They have jobs just like everyone else. And I could tell they didn't want to give us these, but those were like direct. I know, right? Oh, and I set up, okay. So I get this. I'm taking this to court. I'm going to be contesting it. So Kelly goes, how are you enforcing it? Yeah. Way to stand up. Seriously, more people need to, and maybe things would change. $300. That's awful. I'm sorry. Thank you, Luke Fish. I am going to fight it. So I'm hoping they give me a refund on it. But I learned even to contest this, in order to contest this, so I have to write them a letter to contest this within 24 days. And I have to put a deposit down for the $300 to even contest it. So they'll just give me a refund for it. It's an ordinance, not a law. Yes, you're right. It is an ordinance. And I have some people, the other person that I was with, we got these together. We have some legal people that we're talking to, so we understand the law when we go in. But I wonder if I can link it. I actually, if you guys want to, I made a GoFundMe. I'm calling it my freedom fees. So if you want to go and throw a few bucks, feel free. That's going to this. I capped it at 300. Here, I'll put the link for you. But that's my little freedom fund. I'm going to keep some stories up there. There you go. Is that in there? Okay, that's my freedom fund if you want to throw a few bucks in there. But I will be going to court, and apparently, like, I can take it to court, and I can take it to a hearing, and if they dismiss it there, I can appeal it, and I can take it all the way. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, anything, like $1, $5, whatever you want to put. But apparently, like, I can take it there, I can fight it, and then I can appeal it, and that's what I intend on doing, because we have just been, like, I don't know, like, where you guys live and what you've been through, but I haven't worked in almost a year. I had regular acting work. I had a brand new part-time job, like, right before this happened, and I'm not the only one. I'm not saying feel sorry for me. I'm actually, a lot of people are going through this, and I'm still a lot luckier than a lot of people. But you take someone's job, you take everything from them. The Standard Hotel, right next, like, down the street, like Staple in West Hollywood is actually shutting down. I just found that out. They just shut down. So it's one more business that's shutting down that I've seen here in West Hollywood. Yeah, you're going through it. I feel you. It's really hard. And I mean, just mentally too. And I've been so good throughout the whole thing. And just yesterday, and what's really sad about them, like, spying, and it was my city council too. This was my city council. I'm their constituent. They're supposed to be working for me. And I'm out there protesting, having positive conversations with people. We're out there because we love our community and we love our neighborhood, and we're talking about ways for it to make it better. And it was a really positive thing. And you would think, when you see people, I watched the BLM protests all summer, and our mayor was out there with them. Our city council was praising them. I watched them protest. Thank you so much, Masta. I watched them protest all summer, and our city council praised them. And we were out there protesting. They stood across the street. Two of my city council members stood across the street and watched it. They didn't even have the nerve to come and talk to us. They could have talked to us. They could have asked us about our concerns and what we wanted. They did not do that. Okay, Glenn Allen, did you see Wisconsin governor reissued a mask mandate an hour after the legislator nullified the old mask mandate? Wow, that's an update. I actually didn't know that. I was going to talk about that I saw Wisconsin repealed the mask mandate, but he just reordered it. And it's like, establishment will fall sooner or later. Yeah, and I'm not COVID is real, you guys. I know it's real. I'm not a mask. I have my feelings about the mask. I'm sure you guys share my feelings, but I'm not going to get up here and tell anyone what to do. And if that's what I need to do, I'll do it. But where we were, that's going too far, telling people that being outside when you're not even around anyone and you are required to wear a mask. And grant you guys, they have not been enforcing that. They have not been enforcing this. On my way to go there, I see people all over the place without masks on. We were there a month ago all day. No one said anything to us. And that same park that we were in, homeless people are sleeping all the time. They congregate there with no masks on. No one ever says anything. No, I've never seen police officers there. At the height, we had 5 police officers around us. 5 that we were talking to. No, they count all flu deaths as Newsom doesn't wear a mask at the French Laundry. Yeah. Majestic Eagle, I know. Yeah, and that's another thing. And then, our governor, you see pictures of him out without a mask on. And that's the problem. It's terribly inconsistent. That's the entire problem. If it was consistent across the board, or if it made sense, it just doesn't make any sense. Just gave you 25. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Luke Fish. Yay, thank you. I'll feel it soon. I have one of those alien face hugger masks that, let me tell you, I am envied. Say your mask is invisible. Thank you, Red Band. I should have. And I had one on me. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. And our city council members who just didn't even come up and talk to us, our city council members sicked our police officers on us. Like, it was insane. And I talked to some other officers, not the ones that we were with, but I know other officers that work for the city of West Hollywood. And I talked to them about the mask thing, and they were like, yeah, because apparently after Monday, there's a new zero tolerance thing where they're giving everyone citations, although it seemed pretty selective when they gave us citations. But there's, and they say, we don't want to do this. Like, it's embarrassing. It's awful. Like, this is not what we want to be doing, but our hands are completely tied. They feel like their hands are tied, and they're not happy about it either. Political have their hands tied and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. And where we were, just the other week, I saw my first drug deal in broad daylight. I didn't see any officers there. Rules for thee and not for me. I know. I did try to declare myself an autonomous zone and tell them that they did not have jurisdiction over me. But honestly, the thing was, I felt like when I was talking to the police officers, I was kind of preaching to the choir. Like, they were just following orders, honestly. And I actually am excited to have a day to be heard and to tell them what I think. So I'm in a weird way, I'm excited to go and just tell these people in person how I feel and what I think, and stand up for myself. And like I said, I've followed everything this whole time. That was the first time that I just looked at someone and I said, no, no. And I'm in Hermosa Beach half the week. Hermosa Beach, they have the same mandate, and I'll skateboard down the Strand, or I'll walk down the Strand, and you look on the beach and there's groups of 10 people together playing volleyball. No one has a mask on because they're outside, they're separated. There's Sarah has a Chaz. Yes, I declared myself the Chaz. I'll call it the Saz. Yeah. This is not your jurisdiction. Oh, and then I tried to tell one of the cops that I was just looting, and maybe they would leave me alone. I even knocked over a chair for dramatic effect, but they didn't work. You say drug deal, some say they went to the street pharmacy. That was a new street pharmacy. I haven't seen that one before. The street pharmacy. Sansonia. Yeah. This is Sansonia, my autonomous zone. This is not you. This is not your jurisdiction. You do not have jurisdiction over this. Yeah. When I peacefully protest, it's a crime. This is a threat to society, people. This is a danger to society. I hope you know that. Did you see the Gad sad total destruction of Seth Rogen on Twitter? Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Yes, I did a video on it. Okay, who said that? Gordon, go back. Gordon, are you listening? Okay. Listen to me. Go back like 3 videos. I did a dramatic reading of the Gad sad Seth Rogen Twitter feud, and I even added sound effects. I'm very proud of it. Please watch it. Thoughts on schools reopening? Oh, actually, so there was a city in California somewhere, I don't know where it is, and a bunch of high school athletes came out, and it was kind of like a let them play. And that worked. They're opening up sports for these people somehow. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. Thoughts on schools reopening. I don't think they're going to do it anytime soon. I did hear Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Chicago actually went off earlier today saying that they need schools to open. I think the problem is they have their hands tied with the teachers union. Oh, and Brian, Red Van, I was at the grocery store the other day, and I saw a friend of mine, and he was there with his wife, and it was the first time I had met his wife, and the first time I had seen him since the pandemic started. And I was talking to her, and we were just talking about like what we had been through and everything. And she mentioned that she was a school teacher, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm just loving it. I can sleep in," like hinting like she didn't want to go back. And a part of me was just like, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I think they really need to open up. I think our kids like really, really need to be back in school. I can't imagine like being an adult is one thing. I mean, it's still really difficult, but being a kid, you never get those years back. You never get 4th grade back. You never get 5th grade back. You never get your senior year in high school back. You just don't get those years back. And I can imagine what it's doing for their development. I heard that Nevada, was it Las Vegas or somewhere in Nevada, they started opening up their schools because of the unfortunate suicide rates with some of their kids. I don't know. I think if they do open up, it's going to be a fight because I don't think the unions want to open up. It's surprising how many teachers don't want to go back. Like the nurses dancing. Sarah, what would you do if you had a child in public school, homeschool? Yeah, or I would try to get them in private school because I heard private schools are open right now. I don't trust public school anymore. Even if schools were completely open, I just don't trust them anymore. But I would homeschool or try to find a really good private school that I trusted and I knew their curriculum. I grew up with such a good school system. I grew up in the suburbs of Atlanta in Gwinnett County, and our public school our public school system was amazing. And I don't know what happened. In Denver, we had really bad public schools in Denver. We actually voted. I liked this. When we voted to legalize marijuana, we actually voted for a lot of that money to go directly back into our school system. Public schools are just horrible. Yeah, they keep getting worse. What else happened? Oh, and did you see? Okay, let's read. I want to read this. Did you guys see the new the new Super Bowl guidelines? This will be fun. Okay, so the CDC just offered, fun police. Can I ask how old you are, Sarah? I'm 12. So the CDC ordered some guidelines for your Super Bowl gatherings. Sarah's ageless. Thank you. I think I am. Okay, so if you're going to have a gathering for the Super Bowl, listen closely, you guys. Serious. Because if you don't do this, everyone's in danger. Okay, so wear a mask with 2 or more layers to stop the spread of COVID-19 to protect yourself and others. Wear a mask with 2 or more layers, you guys. The more, the better. Okay? Safer you're going to be. Wear 10 masks to save lives. In cold weather, wear your mask under your scarf, ski mask, or okay, guys. BLALCLAVA. What? Baklava? In cold weather, wear your mask under your scarf, ski mask, or baklava. What the heck? All right, let's go on to the third one. What? Can somebody Google a baklava? Guests should avoid direct contact, including handshakes, hugs with others not from their household. For virtual celebration, schedule a time to eat a meal together virtually and have people show their main dish, vegetables, or dessert. And guys, make sure when you are sharing your meal virtually, make sure that you double mask and mask in between bites, okay? It's to save lives. Avoid shouting, cheering loudly, or singing. Clap, stomp your feet, or bring or provide handheld noisemakers instead. So guys, instead of getting really excited about your team, just stomp your feet and clap your hands, or better yet, bring a noisemaker, but you're going to want to do your noisemaker under your mask. Yeah, so your noisemaker should be under your mask at all times. It is to save lives. Keep background music so low, guests don't need to shout. So make sure everything's like really, really low, you guys, so people don't need to shout. Have one person serve all the food. So keep your music down, you guys. Keep your noisemaker in your mask and ask Cheryl to go get you one chip with buffalo dip on it from the kitchen. Offer no-touch trash cans for guests to easily throw away food items. So did everyone get that? There will be a quiz later. Do the rules apply to tailgate parties? Tailgate parties. Oh gosh, that doesn't make any sense. Majestic Eagle. No, it doesn't make any sense. Can you imagine all the drunk people? No, that should be actually, you could make a really fun drinking game with that. That would be hilarious to, I would love to see that. Can somebody put this together? Maybe I'll put it together. Have a Super Bowl gathering, tape it, and try your hardest to abide by every single of these guidelines, and everyone that breaks a guideline has to drink. I think that sounds like a great time. Yeah, spread the love. So basically, hug and kiss everyone. Oh gosh. Baklava is a Greek dessert. Baklava is a Middle Eastern face covering. Okay, that's what it is. But that also sounds very, is that a broad term, or is that specific to a certain type of Middle Eastern face covering? Oh, a head covering you can pull down over your face with eye holes in it. Oh. Okay, did anyone see? Literally, the definition of freedom is demolished on fear. And you know what? That's the thing. When we were talking to those officers, when we just knew what our rights were and kind of stood our ground, and you don't have to be disrespectful. And we told them, hey, if you have to give us these, you have to give us these. You're under orders. It's fine. But it's amazing what happened when we actually stood our ground and sort of knew what our rights are. Here's another game. Find the Karens in the party. Well, apparently too, apparently people, I think maybe people were calling in, like telling on us, but it just blows my mind because literally we were across the street from a restaurant who was practicing the same distance and mask wearing rules as we were. And I would even argue that we were safer because we were out in the open. There was nobody there. But I don't really drink though. You could do some sparkling water, do some shots of soda or cider. One Richard Nixon mask, straw for covered beverages. Yeah. Some Karen tattled on you, Sarah. So there were, yeah, I think so. But I will say, like, most of the people were really happy that we were there. And there was one person that came up to us. He didn't want to sign the petition, but we had an amazing conversation. It was really just people that like their community, that want to do good things, that were out there. And I'll tell you, like, when I knew the city council was sitting over there just watching us, it was really uncomfortable. And I'm thinking, I'm your constituent. Wouldn't you, if I'm out here doing a protest or doing something like that, and it's just a few of us, and you took the effort to come and come out of your office and go in the parking lot across the street, wouldn't you think you would take the effort to come and talk to us yourself and see what we're all about and see what we're doing? They did that with the protests that were happening all summer. Avoid big supermarkets and shop mom and pop. Yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, okay. So did you guys see this? This is just funny. The AOC thing that happened. How is the petition going, Glen Allen asked? We're at 1.4 million signatures, and you need just under 1.5. Do you record the offices giving you the citations? I believe this is civil right. Yes, I have all of that information, and I have the cards of the police officers. And I know who the city council members that were across the street watching us. I know who they are as well. First Amendment, yeah. I'm new to your channel. What brought you to California from Georgia? Are you an actress? Yep, I actually started acting in Denver, which doesn't make any sense. I started doing improv. I was in an improv group for a while. I studied with a lot of guys that they were improvisers in Chicago and kind of studied there. And then they were just like, kind of wanted to move to a smaller city and start families and stuff like that. So a lot of them opened an improv school. So I hung out with them for a while. And I started voice acting and doing some on-camera acting in Denver. And I just always loved California. Thoughts on people who want to remove school resource officers. What exactly is a school resource officer? Denver is just as liberal. Yeah, it's pretty liberal. They have a lot of protests too. I always say, like, I loved living there because I lived there right when they legalized marijuana. And I'm always like, if you guys want to know how to have a peaceful protest, then ask the legalized marijuana guys. Those are some really peaceful protests. School resource officers are cops who stay in public school property. I'm all about that. I really am. I think you need them as long as they're trained properly. I don't mind. Typically the places that have mass shootings are places that are no gun zones, which is the irony. So I'm totally for someone that is highly trained being in a school to protect the kids. And Gordon, Major Williams, yeah, that was a cool thing too. Major Williams, the first time that we did the petition signing, Major Williams came out. He was there with us almost all day. We were out there for 4 hours. He stayed with us all day. And this was not like a big televised event or anything like that. It was just a few people getting others to sign their petition. Major Williams came out. I really like him and his policies. I think I told you guys he's like anti-mask mandate, anti-mandatory vaccine, defund the police. Like, he's a veteran. He's just an awesome. I love all of his policies, and not to mention just spending 4 hours with him. He's just a really cool, down-to-earth guy, really cares, talk to everyone. I really, really like him. He's a dad. He has kids. He was actually at one of the protests. It was a lot of kids that wanted to play their sports. So he went and protested with them, and that's how they got their sports reinstated. I am in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is quite liberal since the University of Michigan is here. I actually was a Republican town until somewhere in the 90s. I didn't know that, Ann Arbor, Michigan. The teachers union has become its own political party. Yeah, and I think there's something going on there with the teachers union and the Democrats right now. On a chance of 1 to 10, what are the chances that I would run for office? I'm educating myself on. I don't think I would do it in the immediate future, but I've been sort of taking courses on how to fundraise, how to do research, how to campaign, and all of those things. How to find people to work on your campaign. So I've been educating myself on that, and it's something that's always on my mind. But I don't think I'll do it in the immediate future, as in like in the next year. Or maybe 2, I don't know, but it's something that is for sure on my mind. I'm just being around all of these, like they make my blood boil so much, a lot of these politicians. So I'm definitely going to have to, I would for sure be a fighter, but I would have to work on my patience big time. Because I don't, yeah. But I've been taking courses on campaigning and all of that stuff. Ron Paul, Ralph Nader, that would be a trap to run for public office. And that's the thing, I want to do it, I don't know. I'd rather go somewhere where, I could have a big effect too. And there's so many people that ran. I was so disappointed that they didn't win. There was one, he was a younger guy and he ran against Maxine Waters and he lost. I was really disappointed in that. Maxine Waters got voted back in. Are you into prepping? No, but you guys, I made fun of preppers about a year ago and I regret that. I think I tweeted that out the other day. I was like, guys, do you remember when we were all laughing at preppers? What else happened today? Okay. Oh, and then did you hear? So that, what is that? The Georgia was she a new congresswoman? Marjorie Taylor, she got her committees stripped of her. They voted for her to do that today, and a bunch of Republicans voted for her. She's the freshman congresswoman, I believe. She's congresswoman or Senate, yeah, congresswoman. Imagine Sarah ran in Portland, and oh my gosh, a lot of people would probably hate me at first, but then they would see the light. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sarah, what did you do political in the past years? So, okay, I have a cool story. Well, I used to be a staunch Democrat. My whole life I was. And I worked for the government for, I don't know, maybe 5 years altogether. I worked for the government, but I didn't work in politics. I worked on a state level and a city level, and I worked for human services. So in the state of Virginia, I worked for an acute care psychiatric hospital for children and adolescents, and I interned at an adult hospital. I actually worked with NGRI clients, not guilty by reason of insanity. So I did that for a few years. And then when I moved to Denver, when I lived in Denver, I worked at a facility called the Children's Family Crisis Center that I don't think it's running anymore, but we basically took in abused and neglected kids. And that's actually, but during this whole time, I was a staunch Democrat. I used to be really into the elections, but that's really the only time I was super into politics. And I voted for Obama both terms. I was really into it. I would go to the Democratic headquarters and buy Obama signs and put them in my yard. And then the evil Republicans would take them back down, and then I would put them back, and the evil Republicans would take them back down again. But I got really drunk on Obama teenies when he won his second term. I was so excited. And then somewhere around his second term, that's when I was working in Denver at the Family Crisis Center. So, and I worked in the project. So, a lot of things they talk about, I was working directly with every day, like directly with the public and people in need and people that were on welfare, families that were on welfare and stuff like that. So I worked with a lot of these issues and I saw the sad reality of a lot of these issues. So I think that's what changed me a lot. And we worked with police officers a lot. Like we worked a lot with different sectors of the government. When we were working with the kids, I actually stopped working there because it was so stressful and I got attacked. That's another story. But that's sort of when my politics started changing, I think, before I really knew it. And I was a Democrat all the way up until I used to get into the elections. I would get people to go out and vote. So that's when I would do it. And then, like I said, sort of towards the middle of Obama's second term, just something seemed off to me. I just, he ran on like, we're going to be the change. We're going to all the change. And then I lost my parents, lose everything in 2018. And I saw, the Michael Brown riots and I started seeing through CNN sort of and what they were doing. And this was before Hillary and Trump were running. This was like mid Obama second term. And then, did you meet the children abuse? Yeah. I'll get to that in a second, Red Band. I'll say that out loud. I just started seeing through everything. So I just lost my faith in politics. I was like, voting doesn't matter. Nothing matters because nothing ever changes. And then I saw Trump get elected. And even though I thought he was a clown at the time, I thought he was silly. I watched the reaction of everyone after he was elected. And it kind of blew my mind and I was just fascinated and I wanted to know what was going on. So, when they would show a clip from when they did the when they did the Good People on Both Sides hoax and then the Kids in Cages hoax and all those things, I would actually go look up the original stories or I would go look up the original speech and I would see that they were lying and they basically made it up. And I started seeing all this stuff about how the news would spin things. I was like, what is going on? And it fascinated me. And that's sort of what red pilled me and got me really into everything. Okay. Red Band, Gad has said that child abuse generally increases in household with step-parents. Did you meet children abused by their step-parents? Yes. I had everything. I can't tell you that statistic just based on what I worked with, but we had everything. I worked with little girls whose moms would pimp them out for drug money, or would make them go sell stolen items on the street corner for drug money. Family or kids that had like families that were heavily involved in gangs, step-parent issues. Even issues maybe where a step-parent was doing something and then the other parent didn't believe them. But yeah, I've heard that statistic too. I didn't study those numbers. I don't know, but we had everything that we worked with. We all make mistakes and we all never have great choices with a country full of fine people. Yeah, hoax. I voted for Obama first term, Asta says, yeah. Have you read Patrick Bryan's recent writings entitled How the DJT Lost the White House, the first draft of history? Worth reading, even if painful. Thank you, free MPG. I haven't read that. Patrick, I'm going to write it down though. I don't know if I would get it. I haven't thought about it yet. I'm going to think about it when I just talked to one of my friends. He's in his 70s. He hasn't even gotten it yet. He lives here in California. He's been on the phone 2 hours every day trying to get it. So I'm not even thinking about that yet. I'll cross that road when I get there. I would rather not take it. That's just me. I'm not I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means. It's just something that's really new and I don't know a lot about it. I've worked at jobs like I worked at a hospital when we had the bird flu. So did we have a vaccine for that? I do remember getting fitted for a mask, but when I worked at a hospital, I had to get all kinds of shots and I was okay with doing it because that's where I worked. That was required at work. But I'm not somebody that typically gets a flu shot anyway. So I don't know. But I haven't thought about it because like I said, I know people here in California who haven't been able to get it yet and they're high risk. Don't get something out. Yeah. Where is your fund for high quality camera? LOL. It has to be tough using a potato to record. Yikes. I'm just using I actually have a high quality camera. I don't use it. I've been using my phone and I use this. I'll probably purchase one. The more I get into doing things like this, the more I get into the techie stuff. What are Major Williams' chances of getting an office? Think how much CA would change for the better. I honestly don't know, but there's a lot of people that are starting to put your GoFund up. Here, I'll put it right here. This is my Freedom Fund. If you want to throw a buck or two in there, so in order to contest my ticket, I still have to send the money and then they just refund it. Do you look forward to becoming a parent someday, or would you rather not raise children? I do look forward to becoming a mom one day. I have a boyfriend right now, so we'll see what happens with that. But I absolutely want to have kids one day, and I look forward to it. And I'm older than some of my friends who had kids, so I've always been open. If it gets to the point where I'm ready to have kids, because I want to be in a steady place with a steady person and relationship, which I basically have. But things are just really weird right now, given the times that we're in. But if it comes to the time where I feel like I'm too old or anything happens, I've also always been open to adopting kids. I would adopt special needs kids because I used to work with them. And I know that there are a lot of them out there that don't have homes. So I would even consider doing that. Is that the guy in the thumbnail? No, that's my buddy. We do he does a lot of recall Gavin Newsom stuff around LA. I actually found him online one day, and we know some mutual people, and I was like, hey, how can I help? You? And he was like, well, let's do a signing. Let's get together. Sarah, you're a young woman. They say over 35 is high risk, but plenty of women have healthy children later. Oh, thank you, Red Van. Yeah, no, I'm a very motherly. I have tons of pets. I used to work with kids. I love kids. I have so many interests. That's why I'm sort of like all over the map. But I will for sure be a mom, whether I adopt a child or I have one of my own, and both will be awesome, I think. Yeah. Started popping out kids at 21. Luckily, after 5 years, the wife still likes me. My favorite thing about kids is when I boot them out of my truck onto my brother's yard full of Dr. Pepper and Snickers. Oh, I didn't even tell you this, but I am going to be an aunt, so I'm really excited. So I get to spoil someone else's kid. Did you watch Crowder today? I didn't watch Crowder today, but I have been watching Steven Crowder. So he's pregnant, or his wife is pregnant with twins. That's so exciting. And they're little miracle babies, it sounds like. Oh, is that what they do, Lukefish? Give a little if you can, but be aware at the end they try to add a tip at the end for protesting. You can change the tip amount. Okay, yeah, so don't do that. Change it to 0. Just be aware. Thank you, Lukefish. I think you would make a great elementary school teacher. I know. And I'm so excited too because I have no little babies in my family. Like none of us are having kids right now. This is our first little baby. So I'm so excited. It's going to be very spoiled. Yeah. Crowder, oh yeah, did you see the AOC thing? Oh my gosh, that was so funny. It was so funny. And I'm not mocking her for being afraid. Did you guys see her live stream where she basically, so she was talking about being in her office and Trump supporters were coming and they were saying, where is she? Where is she? Well, they found out she wasn't in the Capitol building. No Trump supporters or anyone ever breached where she was. And they even did the timeline because in her live stream, she made a little mistake and gave timestamps to certain things. And then we also had the timeline of when people actually breached the Capitol. When she said that the time that she said Trump supporters were coming after her, it was they didn't even breach the Capitol until an hour and a half later or something like that. It was so funny, and she kept trying to like double down, and she was just digging a worse hole for herself. John M, what did AOC do this time? So AOC, she had an hour long live stream, and what she was talking about, her terrible traumatic experience and being afraid of her life at in her office when Trump supporters were breaching it. But the way she told it, she gave a lot of specifics, and those specifics did not add up. She basically got busted lying because of her specifics. I'm not, mocking her for being afraid or anything like that. It's the details that she gave were clear lies, and it was pretty bad. Yeah. So that was a whole thing, and then that was trending on Twitter for a really long time. I think it might still be trending on Twitter, way too long. And what people don't understand, what people do this on Twitter, and it's really funny, and I don't think they understand it. They try to, like, a lot of teens do it and stuff when someone they like it has something trending on them that they don't like. So it says AOC lies, and they're AOC fans, so they don't want that trending. So they'll blast the page with like puppy pictures and that stuff. But really all it does is it keeps her trending. And we all know they do that now. So it makes people even more curious. She got caught because she didn't say where her office was. Yeah. So they're stealing an election and people. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I know, and what I'm learning with a lot of these politicians is it's all theater. I mean, when you're doing stuff like that, it's pure political theater, and it just shows that oh yeah, Alexandria Ocasio Smollett was trending on Twitter. There were some pretty funny. Well, you know what? That's what you do when like when you put yourself out there like that, you're going to get criticized like that. And when you're not honest, people, and you're a public figure, you're a politician, people are going to call you out for it. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And then Trump did something pretty funny. I wish I had it for you. I don't. Maybe I can pull it up. Do you want to hear it? So Trump resigned from SAG-AFTRA, and what he wrote was pretty funny. Let me see if I can find it for you. He wrote them a letter. Oh, shoot. Who has it? She lost some. People must really love. Oh, darn. I don't know where it is, you guys. Oh, but okay. So instead of reading you that, and this is actually kind of concerning because this really is an elected official. I know it seems like petty to talk about AOC, but keep in mind this is an elected official. So while this was going on, she didn't like that people were calling her out online. So she sent something out to her base. She sent out a letter. Well, you can't see it. Sorry. She sent out a letter to her base that says, "As we speak, right-wing operatives with millions of followers on social media are spreading flat-out lies and misleading information about Alexandria. But with your help, we can force Twitter and Facebook to take action and enforce their own rules." So they're basically telling people to scan their feeds and report anyone that is criticizing AOC, like report them to Twitter. But you guys, this is for your First Amendment. This is freedom of speech. This is your ability to be able to criticize your elected officials and be able to call them out when you think they're not being honest. That is your right. That is your First Amendment right. And right now, you have an elected official who is calling on her base to call people out in violation of the First Amendment. Like, what do you call that? And that somehow is okay. That's not okay. And that's like exactly what I'm. It's exactly what I'm doing. I just bookmark people I like. Yeah, that's what I do. Hello, G-Man 24310. I see. Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining, but it's a little scary at the same time. But yes, so Trump resigned from SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA is the Screen Actors Guild. I'm a member of it. And he, I guess they had a conversation, and they needed to distance themselves from Donald Trump. So before they finished doing that, he went ahead and sent them a letter of resignation, and basically said that they should be thankful for all of his successful shows and the success that he's brought them over the years and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty funny. I encourage you to go pursue it online if you can find it. CDC are full of it. The mutation, all the agencies are having a massive laugh at our expense. People should read the Constitution every month and never forget it. Yeah, and correct me if I actually just learned this. I should know this, but this just goes to show you how it's just hard to keep up with everything. But I didn't realize that executive orders only apply, and that actually makes sense because when Biden did the mask mandate, it's only on federal property or federal agencies. Well, I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows, but executive orders, which is what he's doing, he signed almost 40 executive orders in his first few weeks, but they only apply to government agencies and things like that. They don't apply to citizens. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Yes, tend to agree. Oh, you're having your own conversation in there. I bought a Constitution recently. It's somewhere around here. Yeah. They deleted Trump's scene from Home Alone 2. Did they really? Well, you know what? Good thing I have it on DVD. I bet those old school DVDs are going to be selling like crazy. They also removed the penis from The Little Mermaid, but I have the original. Do you guys remember that? I actually do have a Home Alone 2 on DVD, the original one. No, it wasn't. I bought it a long time ago. No, do you remember that back in the day, the Little Mermaid? The original cover had some curious things painted into the castle. I still have that one. Did you hear the press? Okay, so Mast is saying, did you hear the press secretary talk about buying guns and gun control? She literally blamed it all on the Capitol and not the riots that have blazed all of last year. I did not hear that. And you know what's really interesting about that, Masta? So Operation Legend, nobody talked about this. Again, like I feel like we're going back to kids. I almost feel like kids are our forgotten ones because nobody is talking about Operation Legend. A 4-year-old little boy, he caught a stray bullet in the head and was killed while he was asleep in his bed in his apartment. So under the Trump administration, they started Operation Legend, where they went into a lot of inner cities. So Kansas City, Chicago. One weekend in Chicago, they got hundreds of guns off the street, and a lot of bad guys went to jail. A lot of these gang people who are going out shooting people, and then kids are getting stray bullets while they're in their yard or in their homes, and no one's talking about that. Legend was one of them. They caught the person that killed him, so that person is in jail. But they're going to these cities. They're doing events where they're taking illegal guns off the road or off the streets. In Chicago, they got hundreds of guns off the streets in one weekend, and they were doing that in cities all over the U.S. all summer, and nobody talked about that. Oh, Jen also said, okay, and I learned you say her name, Jen Psaki, I think. Jen Psaki. Psaki? She also said, did you guys hear this? So she said, let me know what your thoughts on this are. So she said, I can't remember what the question is, but she said, even after the vaccine, you're still going to have to wear your mask and socially distance, you guys. Even after you receive the vaccine, you're still going to have to wear your mask and socially distance. That is the whole reason some people are even getting the vaccine, is because they're hoping if they get it, we can start to go back to normal. So let me know what your thoughts on that. A lot of kids nowadays get away with tons of stuff. Back then you also did, but there would be friends of your parents watching them. Nowadays that would be, yeah. That Orange Man bad. Someone said Macaulay Culkin said he wanted the Trump scene banned too. Isn't he supposed to be anti-censorship? Yeah, and I thought he was a cool guy. I was kind of liking Macaulay Culkin. I've seen him on a few podcasts. He kind of cracks me up. He has a good sense of humor. He's a lot more intelligent than what I thought he was, and he seems like someone that would be more like, rage against the machine a little bit, or anti-censorship, exactly what you said. So that's very surprising. That just goes to show you like how much, and what is a relief of Trump not being in office is that you're constantly having to defend him all the time, and then people label you a Trumper or whatever they want to call you, and it's like, no, it just happens to be the truth is always on his side for some reason. Most of the time, not always. I can't stand the way he says things sometimes, but you always know where he's coming from. Sarah, if you get the vaccine, it decreases your chance of getting COVID, but there is still a percentage, although small, of getting it. Some who get the vaccine might even wear masks afterwards voluntarily. Wow. Yeah. And then that's my point, though. I mean, what's the point of getting the vaccine if there's still going to be a chance of getting it and it's a newer vaccine? See, and that's where my concern is. And I don't know where I am on the issue. I'm waiting for it to go through. But that's why a lot of people are getting it. Sarah, don't know if you touched on this, but do you have any thoughts on Marjorie Taylor and what's going on with her right now? I think she is kind of in a rock and a hard place. I really like her. I don't know if a lot of what she's saying is going to, I don't think she's going to make a huge difference because she's just such a newer congresswoman as far as getting like policies through. But I like her spirit and I like her spunk. She's a little out there for me sometimes, but I like it. I think they need that. They have it on that side, so why not have it on this side to shake things up? She got stripped of all of her committee assignments today, and I think 11 Republicans voted also for her to get stripped of all of that. So that's pretty wild. They do have some things that she said. I think some people just, can we just tone down the crazy just a little bit? I think she said some things in the past that really were just a little too far, I think, for a politician. They had a picture of her in while they were having this hearing today, and there was a picture of her that she posted on her social media, and it was her in a suit with an AR-15, and then a picture of like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and somebody else, I can't remember, and then it said something to the Democrats, and it just wasn't a good look, and it's like, God, can we just tone down the crazy just a little bit? I like her, I like it, I like the spirit, but she did roast them on Twitter, yeah. But they pull up the things like that, and it's like when they're already labeling just regular Republicans as conspiracy theorists and as far right people, and then you have someone like that. It's not a good look. I don't like it. But I think she's funny. I think she's entertaining. I don't mind it. Someone needs to say something. Everyone else is just a pushover in Congress and in the Senate. So it's nice to see some Republican saying something. Yeah, and I actually heard too. I heard this last week. I was watching someone else's podcast this morning, and they were saying, why do you think that Biden is pushing all of these executive orders through right away? Like, what would be his incentive to do this? And I heard from a birdie that his incentive could be that he's getting advice. Well, for two reasons. One, they're obviously showing their power, and they're giving a big middle finger to Trump. And we know that from like what they say and how they do things. So I think it's that, obviously. I don't think that's a secret for anyone, but it's also, I'm heard, I don't know this, it's not confirmed, this is just an idea or a thought or a theory, but I've heard from someone that he might be being told that if you push all the controversial things ahead quickly, people forget very easily. Push all those controversial things ahead, and then the sooner you do that, the sooner people will forget about it. it takes years to test and put out viable vaccine. Yeah, and I think it's okay to have questions. I'm not a vaccine denier by any sense of the word. I know they work. I know some of them have done revolutionary things, and I've worked at hospitals. I've had to get them. I just hate needles. I'm a huge baby. I hate needles. I mean, of course I would get it if I get them when I have to. I think conspiracy theories are fun, and I also think they're fun. But I also heard, and I don't know, I think that with some of Biden's executive orders, we've seen a lot of pushback on them. I do think some of them he might pull back on a little bit. I do think so, and I've heard that might be coming from somebody. I I do think because some of them he is getting pushed back. So I do think some of them he's going to lighten up on a little bit. But I have a feeling that has to do with it. Like get all of that through first, and then hopefully people will forget about it and will be distracted by some other political theater down the road. I have a 14-year-old son who needs people to hold him down when he receives shots. Really? I have to hold someone's hand or a stuffed animal. It's just, it's like, it's irrational. I know it. It's just, I would rather get punched than have a needle go in my arm. And it makes no sense because obviously getting punched is way more painful, but I just would rather. It's an irrational fear that I have. Okay, guys, let me know if you have anything else really quick. And then I think I'm going to get off and figure out, I'm going to write, I have to write my city council a love letter about how I would like to legally contest my lovely citation that they graced me with yesterday. The signatures on the executive orders look more like Jill Biden's Gateway pundit showed examples. Biden is near vegetable. Sarah, do you have any hidden talents you haven't shown us? Hold on. So for my voice acting, I used to rap in character voices, and that would help me. I just haven't done this in a long time, so I'm going to pull up the lyrics, but I know most of them off the top of my head. I used to rap in a character voice, and that would help me warm up for my voiceovers. So most of the characters that I read for are kids, and most of them are very high-pitched, and there's a lot that goes on with cartoons, so that's how I would warm up. I would do rap songs in my voiceover, so I will recite one for you. Hold on. So this is me just embarrassing myself on here again. Lovely. Okay, so this is a song. It's called Buttermilk Biscuits. It's really old. It came out. I'm just going to sing you a little, or I'm going to rap you in a character voice, a little part of it. This is Sir Mix-a-Lot, and it's actually sung in a very similar voice. I don't know, or rapped in a really similar voice. I don't know who's rapping this song, but I remember my sister listening to this when I was little, and I've never heard the song ever again. But I'm going to rap for you in a character voice, Buttermilk Biscuits by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Now I'm your big mall dropper, mud duck stopper, feel it on the bottom and Adidas on the topper, transform scratching, big beat matching, I can tell you're getting jealous by the looks I'm catching, I hate dumb skeezers, MC beaters, drop $5 grand on my bird white meter, smooth like ice, don't get nice, just turn up the box for the Mix-a-Lot slice, look good, y'all ready to get busy? Hoo-hoo! Now buttermilk biscuits, here we go. Zip the flour, roll the dough, clap your hands and stomp your feet, move your butt to the funky beat, look good. Buttermilk biscuits. On that note, I haven't done that in so long, but that's how I would warm up for my character voices. I would either sing like a death metal song in like a cartoon voice, or I would do a rap song in a cartoon voice. All right, you guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to everyone that put money on the GoFundMe. I'll put it in my little like community tab in the comment section. Um, thank you very much for showing up and watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. When's my single coming out? It's a secret. It's going to be a secret drop, okay? You're not going to know. I'm just going to drop it on you, and that's how you're going to find out. All right, bye, guys. Bye, Fun Police. Bye, John. Bye, Steffi. Bye, Majestic Eagle, Master, Scott, Red Band, David. Bye, guys. How do I turn this thing off?